Dragon number 7. This is the yellow sea serpent. Now, with this guy, one of the things I had realized I wasn't doing was giving them bigger lower jaws, the dragon. So at this point, I've got 6 of them under my belt for this project, and I thought, okay, this is almost like a pelican. It reminded me of having that big pouch under the jaw, and I thought that was kind of cool. But it did almost look like, it reminded me also of like a whale of sorts. And I think that's where the sea serpentness came from, is that it looked like the body could be a big sort of finned, creature swimming through the sea just as much as a big winged something on land. So with that in mind, I start moving through this thing and defining the upper. The eye is a place that I do usually start. I just, again, it's kind of the subject within the subject on these, and I just think it's important to kind of get that established first. At least for me, it is. Everybody's a little different there, but it's an area of the drawing where I think you can see personality. So for me, I like to get it in there, and sometimes that gives me ideas about how I'm going to define the rest of it, whether it's going to be spiky and scary or softer or more fins as opposed to, like a horned wing. So those are all the things I'm thinking. Now, this guy here, with I wanted more of a texture, again, a hide-like thing on the jaw, especially because there was so much of it. I knew I didn't want to do like a plate mail dragon scale or anything like that. So it's really more about just kind of putting in these guidelines that are just suggestive of the texture. I'm really not trying to render anything in these. They're really more suggestions about, what the texture is and what the form is doing. I'm always aware of that when I'm trying to lay in like the directional lines, especially on the outside of the object, the outside of the neck, for example, the top of the neck and the bottom there, you can see where that's an area that sort of starts to suggest the form, the roundness of the neck. So, I keep that kind of thing in mind. But again, with the darker pencil, once I get underneath, I'm able to like scribe those outside edges just a lot more confidently. And it really, gives it some pop and some definition. I also, for the most part, I did stay away from pupils, putting pupils in the eyes on most of these dragons. And that's because I think I'd rather make that decision later down the road. So instead of having something that was in my way, I just left all of those out. And there we go. Dragon number 7, the yellow sea serpent.